Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show that covers all things marketing. The GSMC Marketing News Podcast gives you the latest marketing news, from what major businesses have planned for the coming year to the newest trends in advertising, from podcasts, digital and streaming, to the old standbys of radio, television, and billboards. Whether you're a marketing agent or a business trying to expand your brand, you've come to the right place. The GSMC Marketing News Podcast starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and on today's episode, we are digging into the couch cushions and pulling out our spare change to do some nickel and dime marketing. These segments and these tips and these tricks are really designed to help small businesses or maybe businesses that are going through a bit of a rough time and really need to stretch their marketing dollars. These will hopefully inspire you to get a little creative with your marketing and also help you see positive results without having to spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I want to recommend you listen to all of our other podcasts as well, because we talk about Netflix and Disney and Frozen and these really big companies that, although they have really big budgets, if you listen to the podcast, we give you really good tips on how to emulate what the products they did and how they did their marketing with like nickel and dime solutions. So definitely go check those out if you haven't already. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to this podcast. Honestly, it helps us out so much to know if you're subscribed. This way we can figure out who's listening, what you want to listen to, what you don't want to listen to, and it really just helps us gather information. Something that I talk about a lot on this podcast is data and always reflecting your data so that you understand what you can improve on and what you need to change. And so I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to this podcast so that I could gather a little bit more data on who's listening and what you guys want to hear from me, because I'm really here to create content for you. So if you have suggestions, if you have comments, if you have questions or concerns, please feel free to write them in the review down below or reach out through social media. So I'm going to stop talking now about all the wonderful reasons why you should subscribe and get right into the real reason you're here. We're going to talk about marketing. To start out today's podcast, let's talk about what is new in the marketing world. Our first story is that the coronavirus is impacting box office sales for Disney, MGM, and other studios. The coronavirus outbreak, which has caused more than 3,500 deaths globally, has closed theaters around the world, including in China, the second biggest movie market in the world behind the US. It is no shock that, of course, if China is closing theaters, that this is, of course, going to affect box office sales. It led to MGM delaying the release of No Time to Die, which is the latest James Bond film, earlier this week because they did not want their box office numbers to be altered because of the coronavirus. However, movies that were released last weekend and weekends coming up here, such as Pixar's Onward, won the box office weekend with an estimated $40 million in North America. Although those are really great numbers and it beat The Weeknd, the film brought in one of the lowest openings ever for the animation studio. Pixar is known for having huge big box office weekends that always just knock the numbers out of the park, and so to have one that didn't live up to that expectation is definitely shocking, considering that Onward, features Chris Pratt and Tom Holland and all these very big named actors, and people were really excited about this film. It is a surprise to see that people didn't make it out, so people are speculating that the coronavirus is definitely a direct indicator as to why not. The film, which is about two elf brothers who are on a quest to bring back their deceased father, has made $68 million worldwide so far, which is also great. No one is saying these numbers are bad, especially when we're talking about nickel and dime marketing here. I definitely don't want to say that Pixar making $68 million is a bad thing. Everyone at Pixar is going home with a full plate of food tonight, all right? But when you compare it to like Toy Story 4 when it was released and all these other really big films, it is a shock to find out that it is one of the lowest openings ever for the animation studio. That is crazy, and so I'm definitely interested to see how long they're going to delay No Time to Die, which is the latest James Bond film, because they are afraid of similar results happening. Let me know what you think. Do you think that the reason Onward had such a small opening weekend was because of the coronavirus, or do you think it was another reason? Let me know in the review down below or reach out through social media. Our second story is that Netflix has canceled AJ and the Queen after only one season. Series creator and star RuPaul Charles confirmed the news on Twitter last week. He said, "End of the road for AJ and the Queen. Netflix has decided not to extend our trip across America. Thank you all for the love and support. We are so very proud of the work." This is the second show Netflix has canceled that RuPaul has been a part of, after only one season. The first being Girl Boss, which was the biopic story of Sophia Amoruso and her climb to success that came out in 2017. However, AJ and the Queen was a 10-episode series featuring RuPaul as Ruby Red, a drag queen who was the main star. The drag queen was down on her luck and looking for a fresh start. She teams up with AJ, an orphan preteen, played by Izzy G, and the two travel across America in the 1990s RV. Each episode is filled with a heartwarming tale and a kick-ass musical number. The disappointing part of AJ and the Queen was the marketing Netflix produced for the show. I rarely remember seeing even a trailer for the show or any sign of the promotional material on Netflix's social media accounts. I actually scrolled through it and found only 2 posts in total on the Instagram, when compared to the hundreds that I saw for the new show. I'm not okay with this. It was pretty upsetting, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Netflix could have done a better job at promoting AJ and the Queen? And if they had, would the show be getting a second season? Let me know what you think of Netflix's marketing strategies when it comes to promoting which shows and which Netflix originals will be getting the spotlight. The other show that RuPaul was on, Girl Boss, also received a lot of really high marketing attention, so that one also got canceled. So maybe it has nothing to do with how much attention it gets on social media and has everything to do with the ratings. But I gotta say, as someone who is in marketing, I can tell you the two really do go hand in hand. So let me know in the review down below or reach out through social media with your thoughts. Our third story is that Starbucks has issued a temporary ban on personal and in-store cups to prevent the spread of germs. The coffee chain typically allows customers to bring in their own thermoses or mugs for here use, or glass plates and cups that the store provides, rather than its plastic and paper go-to options. Customers who do this get a small discount on their coffee purchase. Starbucks wrote in a blog post that the store is pausing the use of personal cups and for here ware at all of its locations, but added it will continue to honor the 10-cent discount for anyone who brings in a personal cup or asks for here ware. Starbucks Executive Vice President Roseanne Williams wrote in a statement, "For the last few weeks, we have been closely monitoring and preparing for all the possible scenarios and ensuring we have the right plans and resources in place, defined principally by the expert guidance provided by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and local public health authorities. Looking ahead, we will continue to follow our COVID-19 protocols. The frequent additional cleaning and sanitizing procedures already underway in all of our stores are fully in line with their guidance. I know the situation with COVID-19 is evolving quickly, and we might hear about another impacted partners in our Starbucks community, here and around the country," he added. So, a very interesting story. This does come after the news of one Seattle Starbucks employee being tested positive for the coronavirus. So very interesting to see them responding to this healthcare emergency and responding in a way that is actually going to be super helpful and hopefully stop the spread of germs. And again, still bring in your reusable cups because you still can get that discount. They just don't want to encourage people using the same cups and having baristas spreading their germs on your cups and you spreading your germs with them. So it just makes sense, and it's only for the time being. This is not a permanent thing. So definitely just remember that when you go to Starbucks next, but also still ask for the discount because you're still doing your part. You're still bringing your reusable cup, and you should be rewarded for that, I think. Let me know what you think in the review down below or reach out through social media. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but when we come back, I'm going to give you the top 5 ways you can start stretching your marketing budget. So stay tuned for that because you are listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jaquish, and I'll be right back.
Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast covers everything tech. The hottest mobile phones, tablets, games. We review it, rate it, test it. Whether you're Microsoft or Apple, Android or iPhone, we'll give it to you black and white. The Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast.
And welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jaquish, and today's episode is a lot of fun, especially because I think it is going to help out a lot of people. We are talking about ways you can really stretch out your marketing dollars. I want you to dig into those couch cushions, pull out the nickels and dimes, and start counting them out because I guarantee there is enough in there to produce some kick-ass marketing strategies. So we are going to be taking a look at 25 different tactics you can use to really stretch your marketing dollars, but not make it look like you're stretching your marketing dollars, because that is definitely a fine line that we all have to walk, we all have to monitor. But I think these ideas, they do take a lot of time, they do take a lot of creativity, I'm warning you now, but they don't take a big budget, and that's the big thing we're going to be looking at today. So since we are counting down all 25, I do want to break it into smaller chunks. That way we have time to really discuss and interact with each different concept. However, if you feel that I skipped over one too fast or you weren't very clear in the understanding of what the idea was, then please feel free to reach out through social media or let me know in the review down below. I read the reviews. I take such consideration into the reviews. So if you have a question, if you have a comment or concern, that is the best place to get a hold of me, for sure. Also, make sure you're following us on social media. Follow me on social media. Do whatever you have to do to get in contact with us. All right, so let's jump into our top 5. Number 1, create instructional videos. Instructional videos are so overlooked because they're so easy to do, but if you do them right, they can give you huge amounts of engagement online and can totally boost your product sales. So now you're probably thinking, okay, but I sell soap. Guys, first of all, side note, I'm sorry if I use soap way too much in this podcast as an example, but it's so easy to just relate everything to somebody who sells soap because in a way we all sell soap. If you really think of it just as a metaphor, we're all just trying to sell soap, guys. Anyways, so say you sell soap and you're like, all right, I don't really have an instructional video for my soap. Everyone knows how to use soap. It's pretty self-explanatory. All right, well, take a beat because there are so many other uses for your soap. You could do a video of how to be relaxed during a stressful time and have a bubble bath tutorial. Yeah, it seems silly. Yeah, everyone knows how to take a bubble bath, but are people going to watch that video so that they feel relaxed on their commute home? Abso-freaking-lutely they are, or they're going to get a little bit of a laugh out of it. Either way, they're definitely getting something out of it that they didn't have before. So definitely consider creating an instructional video, even if it's humorous, even if it's helpful, even if it's not helpful at all. Consider it because that is definitely something that people want to interact with. Your second option would be to create an infographic. Infographics are so freaking easy to create and so absolutely beautiful to look at. You can download apps on your phone right now, in this moment, absolutely free. Plug in the information and it'll create an infographic for you. People love to interact with infographics online. It gives them all the information. I know as easy as that sounds, obviously an infographic gives people information, but it gives people information in a digestible way so that they're able to interact with it easier. So definitely consider an infographic for your product. Now, if you're like, again, Mackenzie, I sell soap. what is there an infographic about? Well, right now is a pretty hot time to create an infographic about how washing your hands with antibacterial soap is going to help you prevent germs creeping into your young body. That's a perfect infographic right there. Has anyone seen the image of the infrared light or the light on the hands, and it's like 5 seconds after washing, 20 seconds after washing, an hour after washing, or whatever it is? Those are crazy popular right now, and that one's not even that well done. Imagine if you sell soap, if you sell a quality soap product, you put together a pretty infographic about how washing your hands with this soap for 20 seconds will prevent this amount of germs. People are going to lose their minds for that right now. They're going to be sharing it all the time. And it's not just because of the virus that's going around. People are always going to want to share that because people are always concerned about their health. Who isn't? I am all the time. So definitely play into what your product provides to people and then create an infographic based on that. Our third technique is to go live. Research shows 80% of consumers prefer watching a live video from a business as opposed to reading a blog post. Plus, 82% of consumers say they would rather watch a live video than read a post from a brand on social media. So guys, it is so freaking simple to get those results, to get 80% of your consumers watching a video because it's a live video. That's the simplest thing. And it's also so simple to create a live video because you don't need any prep for that. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your laptop. It's as simple as hitting one button. Now, there are ways to make it really fancy and there are ways to make it really complicated, but to be honest, you don't need all of that. I once worked for a company and they had a $7,000 machine and connection to go live on Facebook Lives. That's insane. You don't need that. Hold the phone and connect a mic to it if you want. You don't need a whole rig and you don't need a whole setup. Go live and start seeing results today. Number 4, reshare content. So this is if you're following other businesses, and one, if you're not, highly recommend you start following other businesses that do the same work you do. So that next time you're at a loss for content, go take a look at their feed and see what they're talking about that day, and then share it. You are not stealing content because you are sharing their content. You are still contributing it to them. You are still showing their brand. You are still giving them credit, but you are then benefiting off of that content as well, and it's a great opportunity to sort of remind them you exist and create more of a networking opportunity. Number 5, very similar but slightly different, recycle content. This means on a day that maybe you're a little low on content yourself, you don't want to reshare content from somebody who does something similar to you. Go ahead and go all the way back to 2 years ago, go back a few years, a few posts ago, and start resharing and recycling your old content. Even if it's as a throwback Thursday, a throwback Tuesday, or you want to present it as a brand new idea, people aren't going to remember if you posted it 2 years ago. Change a couple of the wordings, maybe switch out the photos, but this way you can recycle your content and you don't have to stress over not having it planned out at the moment. This especially works if, say, a long time ago, like a year ago, you spent like $20,000 on this huge marketing campaign and you really felt like it didn't pay off and now you're out of money. Reshare it over and over again because clearly it looks good. You spent a lot of money on it and you can still see benefits from it today. Okay, everyone, we are going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but when we come back, we're going to get into 5 more nickel and dime marketing opportunities for you to explore. So stay tuned because you are listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and I'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and on today's episode, we are counting down the top 25 tips that are going to help you stretch out that marketing budget. And let me tell you, as somebody who is currently deep in student loan debt, I know how to stretch those marketing dollars and really make them a bang worth your buck, if you will. If you want to use that slang, I absolutely am totally for you using that slang, because all of these tips are super helpful, super creative, and are totally worth the time and energy it takes to put into them, because you are going to see results immediately, and it's going to cost you like barely anything to do a lot of these. So definitely get your pen and paper out. We are counting them down in small 5-part sections. That way we have time to really take a look and examine all of the different options. So right now we are at number 6. Keep it simple. Guys, Disney, Netflix, Coca-Cola, all the big companies, the big 3, do some of the most simple and basic marketing campaigns there are. Obviously, movies like Frozen and Disney's really big films and Coca-Cola, their big products, they are getting millions of dollars thrown into those marketing campaigns. But then take a look at what those campaigns actually are. They're talking about Frozen on social media. They are talking about Frozen on TV. They are sending the actors out to do interviews. They are having the actors sign material. They are creating merchandise. All of those things you can do, but keep it simple. You don't have to go big. It's not a go big or go home situation, guys. Keep it simple, and I absolutely promise you will see results. Number 7, utilize your staff's resources. If you are a small company, say there's only 5 of you, go ahead, have a circle time, have a little powwow, and ask everybody, what's your side hustle? What's your hobby? What's your party trick? Because chances are there are a lot of things about your staff that you don't know that could be extremely useful to your company. Say that you always outsource photography to this freelancer who costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and you only ever get 5 photos, and it's draining your resources, but you need photos of your product. Chances are one of your employees knows how to take a photo, knows how to use a camera, knows how to edit photos. Ask around, really start trying to utilize your staff and their resources, because maybe they're just an accountant for you right now, but I know tons of accountants, shout out to Heather if she's listening, who are fantastic photographers and who love doing it, so they're going to love the opportunity to share their talents with you. And honestly, they're working for you now because they clearly care about the product too, and they're going to be willing to do a little bit of extra work for that payoff. So go ahead, ask your staff, and utilize your resources that are already in-house. Number 8, play into nostalgia. Nostalgia is a huge part of marketing, and it's so overlooked because so many people think it's overdone. But guess what? It's not. We haven't even begun to overuse nostalgia. If you are a small company and you're looking for a way to get people hooked onto your product, pull on those nostalgia heartstrings, because we all have them. We're all waiting for them to be pulled because we all enjoy them getting pulled a little bit. We all remembering our childhood and happy memories from our childhood. So if you have the opportunity to play into nostalgia, play into it hard. Number 9, attend free events. So honestly, guys, go onto the Meetup site right now and type in networking events, crafting events, friendship making events, whatever it may be, and start attending all of them. Yeah, you're going to have to waste a few Tuesday nights talking to people who really love to make macrame necklaces or something. But guess what? You're also then going to get to talk to 5 new people who have never heard of your business before, maybe want to invest in your business, or maybe they just want to buy your product. And all it's going to cost you is like a cup of coffee or a beer at one of these free events. Sometimes you don't even need to buy anything at the event. Sometimes they're just like in a park. But start going to free events to advertise yourself, because networking is huge, which is why tip number 10 is networking with other businesses. Now, if you go back onto the Meetup site, you can go to specific networking events. Networking with other companies is such an overlooked thing. A lot of these are overlooked, actually, as I think about it. But networking with other businesses, you might think, oh, but they're the competition. Why would I want to work with them if I'm working against them? Guys, you're a small business. They're a small business. Start scratching each other's backs because it's going to pay off in the long haul. One hand washes the other, and any other hilarious little mantra you can come up with. Because if they're a small business who is doing the exact same thing you are, then why aren't you communicating? Why aren't you brainstorming together? Why aren't you networking together? You're both after the same thing in the end, and eventually, yeah, they're probably going to end up being your competitor. But right now is the perfect time to network with them, because then you can brainstorm together. You can work together and build something that is actually going to help the community, which is something we all take for granted. It is not about who is climbing the ladder faster. It is who is climbing the ladder better. So if you can climb it together, if you can help each other out, if you can network and brainstorm and research together, then why wouldn't you want to do that? Marketing is hard. Marketing can be lonely. Marketing can be, frankly, upsetting and hard and just suck some days. But the days that it doesn't suck are the days that we get to talk to other people in the industry who are working towards the same goal that we are. Makes us feel less alone, and it does help us out. So I would encourage you, if you haven't, start networking with other businesses in your area. Reach out to them. Put up a post on your Instagram asking them to reach out to you. Go to an event. Do whatever you have to do, because networking is going to be a huge part in helping you stretch those marketing dollars. Okay, everyone, we are going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but when we come back, I'm going to give you 5 more. We're going to be at number 15 pretty soon here, which is, the next 5 are pretty great, so definitely stay tuned for that, because you are listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and I'll be right back.
Are you a business owner? Someone interested in the latest news that might affect your business? Then check out the GSMC Business News Podcast, a show dedicated to keeping you up to date on all things concerning business, technology, and the stock market. Get a head start on the day as we keep you updated on the latest goings-on Wall Street, money, jobs, and technology. The GSMC Business News Podcast has you covered.
And welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and on today's podcast, we are counting down the top 25 best marketing strategies for you to use if you're really looking to stretch out that marketing budget. Just like that pair of sweatpants that you only bring out right around Thanksgiving time, we are going to be stretching it out, because I understand right now is a tough time for marketing, especially if you're a small business owner, especially if you're a new business. It can be really hard to dedicate thousands and thousands of dollars towards a marketing project that you're not even sure is going to work, if it's going to be worth it. So all of these ideas, we're at number 11 right now, are meant to give you results that are going to be engagement and followers and product buying and all of the good stuff without having to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars. So get your pen and paper out, because we are taking notes today, guys. I'm giving you some solid ideas. We are breaking them down into 5-part segments. This way we have time to really take in consideration what each point and what each idea is presenting, and how you might be able to use that idea in your own marketing. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about any of these tips, or if you just want some more information, please feel free to reach out through social media or in the review down below. Alright, so let's get right back into today's list. Number 11 is repurposing your own content. So I already gave the idea of you resharing and you recycling content. But repurposing content allows you to take something that originally you had created for Instagram, repurpose it so that you can use it on Twitter or on YouTube or on Facebook. Now that might seem ambitious, but guess what, guys? It's not going to cost you anything other than time. It is going to take time because basically, say you have a bunch of words on Twitter that you want to turn into a stop motion video on YouTube. That's not going to cost you any money, but it is going to take a few hours, and you're going to have to Google how to even do that if you have no idea how to do video editing. Do not hire somebody to do that for you, though, because that is so incredibly easy to do. But you might have to Google it. You might screw up a few times, but repurpose that content. Give it new life on your feed, and really just use it for that engagement value, because if people liked it once, they're going to like it again, but in a new format. Number 12, testimonials. If you want content that you can continuously repurpose, recycle, and reshare, testimonials are your game changer, everybody. If you get one person saying one good quote about your business, you can have that in a video format where they're saying it like an interview style, or just their audio where the words are popping up, or just the words on a Twitter post, or just the words on a quote on a picture on your Instagram. I just gave you 5 different ways for you to use one testimonial. Now imagine if you had 5 testimonials, then you have 25 different posts. Sorry guys, I had to do some fast math there. I apologize. I'm good at marketing, not good at timesing stuff apparently. But testimonials are so freaking key to your business because of how much you can repurpose that content and just how much that content means to other people. My boyfriend will not watch a movie if it has low ratings. If one person made a nasty comment about that movie on some sort of forum somewhere, he will not watch it. My parents won't buy a product if it has a bad review. On the other side, they are more likely to watch a movie. They're more likely to buy the product if it has a good review, if it has a good testimonial. So people really care about testimonials, and it's good content for you to repurpose. So reach out to those people who you know really love the product and just ask if they can come in. You can videotape it on your phone and get that content. Number 13, surveys, polls, and questions. Ask your audience what they're missing. Now, this might seem all right, of course creating the poll, of course creating the survey, and of course asking the questions are free. But say that they want us to have $1,000 production value suddenly on our next project. They're saying that our production value is really low and they want to see a higher quality of that. 1, that is great advice to be getting. 2, yes, if your video quality is bad, you need to know that it's bad and you need to change that. But 3, it does not mean that you need to change it tomorrow. Currently, today, people are going to interact with your surveys, polls, and questions. They are going to feel valued for their opinion getting taken and their opinion being taken seriously. They're going to engage with your post. They're going to maybe go back through your product list. It is going to remind them of who you are and what you do. It's going to put you in the top of their brain. They're going to be thinking about you again, and maybe they haven't been thinking about you for a while. And finally, you do not have to change anything today. Maybe it just means you stop doing something. If they wrote in your survey, if they wrote back in your poll that your production value was low, just stop putting out videos for a while until you have the money to put out high quality videos, or just find a simple fix to that, because honestly, maybe you've been doing it on your old point and shoot camera. The sad truth is that your phone probably has a better camera than your old camera. Phone quality has just gone up so crazy in the past couple of years that recording something on your phone isn't a bad idea. So definitely take into consideration what they're saying on these surveys, polls, and questions. Don't ignore it. But what I'm saying is that doing a survey, doing a poll, and asking questions is a great way to interact with your audience for free. Number 14, work with other new creators. Guys, if you sell soaps, you're Susan Soap, and you find out that Tony Towels lives down the street from you, why aren't you working with Tony Towels? Come on, go over there, knock on his door, bring him some free soap, ask for some free towels, and then start brainstorming together about how you can work together, about how maybe you can do a giveaway where you get soaps and towels, how maybe you can get them a spa day together on like some sort of coupon or something. There are so many different ways that you can work with other new creators that will cost you absolutely nothing because all you're doing is brainstorming. Maybe it'll turn into something, maybe it won't. But right now, all you are trying to do is really network and get involved with other creators in your area. Number 15, run a contest that encourages user-generated content. The best example of this is when Starbucks did their Red Cup contest. Now, for a lot of you who have listened to the podcast previously, you already know what I'm talking about. Starbucks ran a Red Cup contest a few years ago over Christmas time where they encouraged their users, encouraged their audience to draw their own winter holiday design on the red cups. You were then entered into a contest, and if your design won, it was then shown across all Starbucks locations and was picked as being their main design for that year. But what that actually did for Starbucks was, one, give them the opportunity not to have to hire a designer to design the cups for them. Two, it created user-generated content that they could share on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on YouTube, and they had other people talking about it for them. This was a terrific idea and one that has not been done enough. If you have the opportunity to create user-generated content, then definitely do that. Let's bring it back to the towels. If you sell ordinary white towels, or say you just have a surplus of ordinary white towels, run a contest that encourages people to DIY anything with your towels. They could make them into coasters, they could make them into blankets, they could make them into hats or mitts or socks for a baby. Anything their imagination can do, let them do it with your product. Then you can use all of that content on your own media channel, and then they will also share it on their media channels. It is a win-win scenario all around, and honestly, guys, it is so simple, it is so easy, and it will cost you nothing. Okay, everyone, so we're going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but when we come back, we are going to break it down into 5 more. We're going to be at number 20, so stay tuned for that because you are listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for a podcast that gives you all of the latest news from the world of finance? Then check out the GSMC Financial News Podcast. We'll delve into the ups and downs of the stock market, changes in the economy, and news from the world of real estate and technology. From breaking news on the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, or the overseas market, to updates on the bond market, if there's money to be made, we'll cover it on the GSMC Financial News Podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and on today's podcast, we are counting down the top 25 best tips I can give you to help you stretch out those marketing dollars. Right now, we are at number 16. We have talked about so many really fun ways and interesting ways for you to save money but create extraordinary and phenomenal marketing campaigns. I really hope you guys are learning something, and I really hope you are enjoying the content I am producing today. If you enjoy it, please remember to subscribe. We post new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will never let you down. I will always be posting on those days. So if you're interested in learning more about marketing, if you're interested in interacting with the podcast, then please subscribe. It means a lot to me, and it costs you nothing to do it. So go ahead and hit that purple button. For now, though, let's get right back into today's podcast. Number 16, launch a customer referral program. It is definitely one of our more expensive stretching your marketing dollar tips, but it doesn't cost you a lot of money, and it is going to pay you back tenfold. People freaking love customer referral programs. Just make sure, 1, it's easy to use. 2, it actually pays off. And 3, it's engaging. Chipotle does a fantastic one. There's a really funny pun that goes along with it, like get your guac or get your guac on. It's something like that. So if you can make it engaging, if you can make it fun to use, but also keep it simple and rewarding, people are absolutely going to fall for this. They're absolutely going to fall in love with this, I should say, because they are going to want to be a part of that referral program, and it is going to give you that return on investment with the return customers. Number 17, giveaways. If you have a surplus of the plain white towels, like we already talked about with the user-generated content tip, then go ahead and just give them away. If you know they're not going to sell, why not throw them in a giveaway basket and get people engaged with your product again? Remind them that you're doing fun stuff, that you're entertaining them over here, and that you're a product worth engaging with and you're a company worth buying from, because occasionally you give back to your community and you do that through giveaways. So throw a basket together, put a bow on it, and then give it away through social media. I do not recommend just giving it away. Make it entertaining, make it a contest, make it a competition, make them reshare the photo, make them follow you, make them tag people, do whatever you have to do so that you're actually benefiting from this giveaway. Number 18, host an event or class. So this one can be really interesting, and it can definitely, cost a little bit of money as well. I'm not saying that this one is 100% free, but if you host an event or you host a class using your product or an event that features your product, it is going to allow people to buy from you direct in person. They do not have to go through some sort of e-commerce site. They do not have to add to their shopping cart. And honestly, people have a hard time saying no face-to-face. So host an event, host a class that heavily features your product and also just your merchandise outside of your product. This way people can get to know your brand, get to know your company, and hopefully actually buy your product at the event. Number 19, behind the scenes videos. So we've talked about instructional videos, but how about behind the scenes videos? These can be a lot of fun. I don't know what it is with the world today, but people love seeing the behind the scenes. People want to see how you start your morning, what you do when things get stressful, how you de-stress, how you handle slow days, what you do to catch up during those slow times. People want to see what your office looks like, what your staff looks like, who your staff is, why they joined the team, why you started the company. Right there, I just named 20 different things people want to see, and those could each be 20 different videos. Do not run out of content by making one long behind the scenes video. Create 20 several different little videos that are going to help boost your engagement, help you interact with your audience, and also open up your community a little bit more because you're being a little bit more honest with who's watching and why they're watching. This can be super helpful and people often neglect it. So definitely take a moment, create a bunch of behind the scenes videos, and guys, you can do this with your cell phone. You can hire your niece to come videotape you and walk around, and honestly, you can probably pay her in like Pop Rocks or something, I don't know. Pay her in love, but it's going to cost you next to nothing to create behind the scenes videos, and it is going to boost your engagement by shocking amounts. So I highly recommend this tip. I recommend all of these tips, obviously, but behind the scenes videos are super, super helpful right now, and people just seem to be really, really interacting with them a lot more. So jump on this bandwagon while it lasts. Number 20, staff testimonial videos. So we already talked about how important testimonials are to your business, but that was about your clients. Now, your clients' testimonials are, of course, super important because they are the ones actually buying your product. They are actually using your product. So they are definitely the best ones to recommend your product. Whereas your staff, you pay them. They could absolutely hate the product, but you pay them. I have worked for companies where I absolutely have zero use for the product, but I'm not their audience. I'm not the person who's buying from them, so it doesn't matter. The reason you would turn to your staff for a testimonial is to talk more about the community and the people behind the industry. Because guess what? There are thousands and thousands of places for people to buy soap right now. I can go into literally any store and buy soap. But I want to buy soap from you because you hire single moms who are just trying their best. Or you hire university students who are looking for experience. or all of your employees right now are interns because you're just starting out, because you've been working towards this business goal for years. This used to be something you just had an hour a day to work on, and now it is your full-time job. I want to hear those stories. I want to hear those stories from you. I want to hear them from your staff, because it is going to allow me to create a human connection with you and a human connection with your product that I did not have before. It is so incredibly important that right now in a digital world where we don't get to see our humans and we don't get to see people every day, but we interact with people every day, that we want to actually make sure that when people interact with our product, they're interacting with a real person behind that product. It is going to make them feel a whole lot more safe interacting with you and interacting with your product. So please take a moment and try to consider the human touch to your marketing. And you can do that through staff testimonial videos. Again, record them with your phone. And guys, there are so many accessories you can buy for your phone that are super cheap, that cost way less than a DSLR camera, that are totally going to bump up your video quality. Buy a microphone, buy a lens, buy a tripod, attach it all on your phone. It'll cost you $70 and you can start recording high-end video content. That's just a little bit of an expensive tip. I do get that not everyone has the money to buy a tripod for their phone, but if you can, I highly recommend it, because it is going to pay off way more than you hiring a videographer every week. So definitely take that into consideration. Okay, everyone, we're going to go ahead and take a short break from the podcast, but when we come back, I am going to give you our final 5 top tips to stretch your marketing budget. So stay tuned for that, because you are listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and I'll be right back.
The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything travel. We explore places you've always wanted to go, as well as giving tips for traveling in those places. We'll give you advice on the best sites for travel tips, information, and discounts. Join us as we travel the world, explore cultures, and meet new people. The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast has got you covered. Download the GSMC Travel Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
And welcome back to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie, and on today's episode, we are talking about the top 25 tips you can utilize to really boost up your marketing and stretch out those marketing dollars. We have talked about so many tips today, guys. I have given you so many ideas, and I hope you at least take away one of them. If you take away all 25, that would mean the world to me too. But honestly, even just using one of these tips can totally help you save some money and totally help you see some really positive results. So what I'd like to do right now, we're going to get into the final 5, but I'm going to give you a brief overview of the top 20, just in case you missed a few. So number 1, instructional videos. Number 2, infographics. Number 3, going live. Number 4, resharing content. And number 5, recycling content. Number 6, keep it simple. Number 7, utilize your in-house resources. Number 8, play into nostalgia. Number 9, attend free events. Number 10, network with other businesses. Number 11, repurpose content. Number 12, testimonials. Number 13, surveys, polls, and questions for your audience. Number 14, work with other new creators. Number 15, run a contest that encourages user-generated content, or UGC. Number 16, launch a customer referral program. Number 17, giveaways. Number 18, host an event or class. Number 19, behind-the-scenes videos. Number 20, staff testimonial videos. And now we are finally getting into the top 5 out of 25 best tips for you to stretch out those marketing dollars, use those nickels and dimes you've been saving for years in your jar beside your bed, and put them towards your marketing, because these are cheap, these are easy, these are simple, but they are going to give you huge benefits. You're going to see tons of engagement. You are going to get people involved with your product again. I promise you. And if you use any of these ideas and they don't work, write it in the review down below. Go ahead, yell at me, because I dare you to try one of these ideas and have it not work. So let's do it. Let's get into them. Number 21, blogging. Blogging might seem like old school now. Old news. Who blogs anymore? Who cares? Why would I care? But blogging is a really great way to generate content that can live on your site forever. People can always Google something and find a blog. People will trust blogs for recipes, DIY projects, reviews. So if you create blogs that are generic but entertaining in long form and are a long form version of all the other content you're creating, it'll be a great way to keep people consistently engaged with your page. Because a really great thing to do would be to write a blog post on how you make your soap, and then take that blog post and put it into a 2-minute video on how you make your soap. And then take that 2-minute video and turn it into a 30-second preview of what the video is about. And there you go. There are 3 different things that just came out of you creating one blog. And I'll be honest, who doesn't like writing blogs? It's a ton of fun. It's so much fun, guys. So get into it, even if it's just for yourself. Number 2, promote user-generated content. So we talked a lot about this earlier, because user-generated content can be a huge deal to a lot of companies. It can really help you promote your business without you having to spend any dollars towards it. So if you notice people are already creating content for you, promote the hell out of it. Share it, like it, talk to them about you using it. Talk to them if they have any other content. Just constantly promote, promote, promote. It costs you nothing, and it looks great that you're doing it, and it's going to encourage other users to generate content as well. Number 23, vlogging. Vlogging's huge. Lily Singh, the first woman ever to host a late night show on primetime TV, started her career by creating YouTube videos. You want to know how the YouTube videos got famous? She vlogged. She vlogged every single day of her life. It seems intense. It seems crazy. But guess what? People love intense and crazy. People love seeing your day. People love entertaining the idea that they are a part of your world. So take out your phone. Start vlogging stuff. I'm not saying you have to go as hard as Lily Singh or any professional YouTuber or influencer, but just try doing one day in your life or one product launch day of vlogging. This way you can really generate a buzz about your company and the community you are trying to build. Number 24, refresh and reflect on old data. So refreshing your old data and reflecting on it can be a really great way to see where you've spent money in the past, what you spent money on, and where your marketing dollars are actually worth going to. This should have been at the very, very start of any of your marketing strategies. Refresh that old data, take a look at it, and then decide where your marketing dollars should be going and what you've spent them on in the past that maybe hasn't paid off. Now take a look at what that is and try reusing it again. Try using the money you've already spent, taking whatever you earned from that, and repurposing it again and again and again. Number 25. Guys, you all know what I'm going to say here. If you don't, get ready. Guerrilla marketing. It is so flippin' easy, so cheap, and so versatile that I can't believe more people still aren't doing it. Get out there, do some guerrilla marketing, and just get it done, because you are going to see a huge payoff if you just push yourself and get outside in your community and start hanging flyers. Go to local businesses, ask them if you can hang their flyers on their bulletin board. Go to the Starbucks, go to the university, do whatever you have to do to get your name out there, because it is going to make a huge impact. Because think about it, say somebody read your blog, and then they watched your blog, and then they looked at a contest for a giveaway online. They might be thinking, wow, this company sure does do a lot. But then they step outside of their house, and boom, there's a flyer there. wow, I'm definitely going to have to look into this company now. They're covering all of their bases, and I want to be involved with a company that understands that I am everywhere and I'm not just on my phone. That's just one example. It also could be that you're just creeping into their subconscious, and eventually one day they're going to be scrolling through Instagram and they're going to see an ad after seeing your flyer a million times. So definitely take guerrilla marketing into consideration. Okay, everyone, we are done for today. I really hope this podcast helped you guys out, helped get those brain juices flowing about some ways you can stretch your marketing dollars. Thank you so much for listening to the GSMC Marketing Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Mackenzie Jakewish, and I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the GSMC Marketing News Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to any podcast app, and you'll find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news, you'll find it all on the GSMC Podcast Network. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.